Ladies and gents, welcome. We've got two awesome names for our scene in Group D here in Titans League. This is the second round for both of them. And if you looked at the results, you will have seen that the Viper, the winner of Season 2, is currently sitting in 6th place out of 6 in the relegation zone. Don't freak out. He just played one round. He got one win in that round. It was against Tato. Obviously, if you looked at the scores as well, other players have already played 2 rounds. So it makes sense Viper with only 1 win would be down there. But currently he comes in with 1 win. Meaning he needs to get more wins on the board. And Vivi, who got promoted up to Platinum, which was a pretty big deal for him, he started off Titans League with 2 wins. And that was against Sobek. It was a very messy series. I'm excited to see what happens here. So these guys go a ways back. Most of our pros do. But these guys, I've got some special memories covering. And I actually remember a game that these two played. I believe it was Hidden Cup 2. Someone might need to pull up the Wikipedia bracket, and it was on El Dorado. Can someone check if Hidden Cup 2 had El Dorado? I think it would have been 2017, maybe 2018, and it was actually the game. I think Viper had Chinese. I remember specifically, I think it was Robin Hood at that time, in his yellow, had Chinese, didn't have control of his gold at all against Incas. And here, can I switch their sides? There we go. Switch their sides for you on the scoreboard here. Just lots of memories on this map, and Viper has shown that he does not necessarily need to have that golden stone area. That said, golden stone, obviously very important. You only have 2 tiles of stone and 2 tiles of gold at your base. But like the last 3 or 4 times in Platinum, we've seen someone castle the middle. They have lost because they have not had fish on the outside. They have not had the food and wood control. So I find it to be a really interesting map, and I'm happy that what I envisioned for the map is actually starting to happen now that we've got the best of the best. Okay, Smallhead says, Game 3, Viper Vivi, Chinese Incas, and El Dorado. Yup, Hidden Cup 2. Boom! What was that, like 5 years ago? 6 years ago? I remember that clear as day, man. Clear as day. It was Castle Age from Viper, all in Light Cav and Skirms against Elite Eagles. He just had so much of the map. It was really cool. So yeah, Viper's gone for the Romans. This was his very first pick. That was 2019. Okay, got it. Makes more sense. Romans is something that Doubt did in his first round in his group. And he played it on this map against Running's Chinese. And similar thing where he prioritized the wood and the food eco. Now, Romans are new, okay? They're relatively unexplored by most pros. I personally have been surprised at how little we've seen them picked. And actually, it's not exactly that accurate. They have been picked a decent amount. They haven't been played that much. And I think the bonus that makes Romans really strong, and if they were to lose this bonus, suddenly I think this would be very weak, is the 5% efficiency bonus on pretty much everything that villagers do. They build faster, they collect faster. That 5% is insane. Okay? And it's like, it's really good for beginner players because beginner players have efficiency problems. And, if you can get a 5% boost in every single little thing you do, it goes a long way. Now, I'm not implying Viper's a beginner, obviously. But I've seen the win rates. I think Romans do pretty well. Also, their blacksmith upgrades for their infantry, it double stacks, right? So if we do see infantry, they just stick around a little bit longer. They're just a little bit stronger in general. So right now, Viper on the way to Feudal Age. He has clicked up first. Vivi's on the other side. Vivi's gone for the melee, which makes me think he will prioritize water a bit more than Viper might. We're going to see the barracks here from Viper. Vivi will spot that, and I'm very curious on how Vivi performs against Viper today. I looked at the win rates for these guys against each other. Viper is 8-1 in tournament sets for the last, 4 years. Or, sorry, 6 years, I guess it's been since they've been playing each other. So 8-1 for Viper in tournament sets. However, the games, so not the sets, the games themselves, 28 wins for Viper, 4 losses. That's insane. The majority of the sets were sweeps. 2 of Vivi's wins, 3 of those 4 wins for Vivi was when in 2017 he won a tournament called Legacy of the Huns. It was a Hun War only tournament against Viper 3-2. Now Vivi saw this barracks and he should understand the Romans. I know Vivi's teammate, has talked a lot about the Romans. So he should know that Man-at-Arms could be a possibility. He didn't see Viper was on gold. But if he looks to the middle, you know, there's this exposed area. Viper's trying to be sneaky, but he's walking right through the middle. So much for sneaky. This should be something that Vivi notices. And Vivi, going to hit the next stage, will drop his archery range just in time. Like, this was just so close. But he's going to get his range down to defend. Vivi does have 5 fishing ships behind this. Vivi will have more eco units because he advances faster to the next stage and has gotten to creating villagers. So thus far, Viper's opening, not all that impressed. He is going to slide on through here. Bit of a risky move, takes a bit of damage from the TC. But Viper's got the initiative right now. I think that's the important thing to mention. It's important that Vivi makes sure that he gets this back in some way. Yeah, the middle's always visible to the players. Always. Stone and gold. Like, maybe I'm not talking about it as much, but in case you forgot, it's always visible. First game of the day, Viper, he got housed. So he's going to research Town Watch because he forgot a house. And then his scout almost dies to a spearman. Really nice start for Vivi here. Just some small things that you kind of expect players to execute a bit better on. That scout's going to be valuable. And Vivi's still got more HP on his scout. There goes Vivi with a fire galley. Viper's going to do the same. Viper did squeak out his 5th fishing ship. And sometimes you will see a second dock here for players. I think Vivi would go for a second dock if he knew these man-at-arms weren't going to threaten him. I could see the villager that's over here, yep, going to build a second dock right now. Vivi's playing this really well. Right? Like, all the things that come to my mind as a caster, I mean, as Viper's getting wheelbarrow, which seems very interesting considering he doesn't have farms. All the things that come to my mind as a caster, I'm not going to say I'm correct on all of it all the time anyways, but usually I've got a pretty good outlook on how the game should be played, right, in each situation. And the fact that right in that moment he said, let's do this, pretty big deal. And that should lead to him being in a pretty good spot fishing-wise as well if the fishing ships move along there. Guys, I don't know what Viper's doing. Why are we getting wheelbarrow on a map where you don't have any farms? What does that do? It makes your villagers move faster. This is a really weird build. It's different. It's not something I would have expected here. Can't really doubt the snake yet. I do not think that he's put in a lot of practice. I watched his draft, his POV on his draft for the very first round, and he literally was like, I actually have to look at the map pool. I don't know what maps are in this. So, you know, I expected big names to be a little underprepared and because they expect to get to the playoffs anyways. And that's why it's so important for Vivi in such a tough group to snag as many wins as possible. And even if just one win today against Viper, that'd be huge for him. The fires go down for both players there. That's an even trade. I think both will take that. The Viper applying some pressure here against Vivi. And Viper sees now that Vivi is over here on this wood line. And Viper's got skirms. Vivi trying to pull the archers away. This is really good micro from Vivi. He hasn't lost an archer yet. They end up trading 1 for 1. And then here Vivi defends quite nicely as well. So he has to be a little careful. Now my thing is right now is just the food count, right? Viper invested in the wheelbarrow. Typically that's when you build a lot of farms. And Viper's thinking of adding more fish, which is the correct play on this map. A lot of players haven't really done that yet. We saw Hera do it in one of his games yesterday, and it worked out very nicely. But you'll notice that Vivi has done the same. Vivi also on 8 fishing ships. I also think the efficiency is better because of the second dock. And so as Viper still knocks on the door trying to get kills, Vivi does the same. And it's been back and forth with the ranged units mainly. But Vivi's clicked up to the castle age, and Vivi is very heavy on stone now. Now, what I have found to be the weakness of the water approach, or sorry, the castle in the middle, so the exact opposite, has been that players do not prioritize fish, right? They lose their fish. So if you've got the food on the outside, and then you also have a castle in the middle, then it can be very hard to break. At least that's what I'm thinking. Viper's going to click up to castle age much later than Vivi. You also arrive to castle age much later than Vivi. First eco kill happens, though. Nice shot from the Viper. Kills 1 villager. We'll make it a second, maybe. Vivi actually able to save her. No. Villager goes down. 10 to 10 on that KD. Viper with the dock over here. And that's something that's Vivi seen that. Vivi has not seen that, so he's unaware. He is sending fire galleys that way, though. And Vivi's been on stone this whole time. So Vivi hits Castle Age, 1730. Viper dropping stables, thinking of going knights. He does have 10 fishing ships. I actually think the most valuable upgrade for Vivi right now, and I would love that castle to be as far into that gold as possible, is the war galley upgrade. Upgrading your ships right now so you can go take Viper's fish while also castling the middle seems extremely strong to me. I was not thinking of it right now. Castle will go up in the middle. There's no way Viper stops this. And I'm still wondering, will Viper be able to do this again? As he's going to lose archers here. Can he beat Vivi on this map years later after that game that I mentioned earlier without having access to the gold in the middle? He still could take gold in the middle. Over here, it looks like maybe Vivi, did he lose both of his ships? I think he did. This is the opportunity for Viper. I understand the fixation on the middle. It's so important. But I think it opens up an avenue for a Viper comeback if Viper is able to kill those fishing ships that Vivi has right now. Still, Vivi definitely in the preferred position. And Vivi with a couple Karambit Warriors, a couple Skirmishers. He hasn't taken any unnecessary damage at home. And Viper just 120 gold remaining here. He is on stone as well, though. And he currently has more fishing ships than Vivi. Vivi, it's important that he reacts here. He's going to see Viper's fires. So this prompts him to not forget about the water. He will defend. Viper doesn't have any pressure looping in on this side. He's made mills along the shoreline for food, Viper. No farming eco yet. Is getting horse collar, so I expect some farms to come. Viper's fires dive in. He's going to immediately lose them. So 2 ships down for Viper. No fishing kills. We've only had 2 eco kills in the game. And that was when Viper had killed the fishing ships earlier. What is Vivi doing here? Vivi's going to lose all of his Karambits against one knight? Okay. I think he misclicked. I'm gonna chalk this up to a misclick. I think he thinks all of his Karambits are fighting the knight. He's going to make more Karambits, though. Karambits are cheap. Second town center for Vivi, guys. My prediction was 3-0 Viper. It's been bad over the years for Vivi against Viper. Vivi's playing great. Maybe can see a bit of the preparation and a bit of the comfort with this particular map, right? Viper won one game. It was against Tato in the first round. He currently sits in 6th place. There will be 3 more rounds for both of them after this. Viper with a really nice snipe, though. That's a nice little detail there. The Karambit Warriors, the main unit line for Vivi. I love it, but I don't. I think Karambits and Monks isn't necessarily bad. I think what is really beneficial, though, is the fact that Viper's not going to be able to make many more Knights in the long run. Because you might not have access to gold. But I don't think the trades have really been all that good for Vivi here. He's trying to get the relics, which is fine. But, dude, this scout, maybe kill the scout first. I like how the relic actually hopped over to the other side of the gold. Now the monk can't get it because the Karambit's in the way. Viper's got enough stone for a castle. I think Vivi's given Viper an opportunity here. And Viper, he could still take the gold because Vivi castled all the way back here. And Viper could, in theory, place a castle that denies the gold. If Viper places the castle here and gets fletching, which he does, he could force Vivi off of where he's currently taking gold. I think the initial castle spot for Vivi might be something he regrets. But, oh, man, I mean, Vivi's ready for this, right? Vivi, he has to know that something's coming. There's a Scorpion from Viper. It hits all the Karambits. And now scouts again are going to kill another monk. And meaning the knights won't get conversions. There's more scouts from Viper. It's perfect from Viper. This is exactly what he wants. Another one could die. Oh, my God. He actually kills all the monks. And there goes Viper right next to that gold pile. And Viper is late to the party. But he's brought a whole lot with him. The TC can easily go up there. Viper's food eco is looking great behind this. I felt like Vivi had an opportunity in this game. When he built his initial castle even. He could have maybe made it forward. So now he's got to shift over to this direction. And take the gold on this side. So both players are going to have access to gold, which is pretty wild. But intense stuff. I think what you really need right now of your Vivi is you need an answer to the Scorpions. If the Scorpions come over here. Fire Galley going down there. Viper's fishing ships moving around. Viper doesn't actually have any navy anymore. And Vivi's got 15 karambits, and Viper has overchopped this wood line, and Viper just notices this. As he'll bring over the Knights and the Scorpions, I'm sure. Vivi's got to be careful still. Scouts from Viper. Man, these guys have gotten value. The Scouts are the MVPs for Viper. He is going to lose them now. And we have a tower from Vivi, which is a really nice move. I like this, just to protect this area. And a Siege Workshop. And the Karambits get in. So Viper has to bring all the Knights back. What a fun game, guys. Vivi with the population lead. Still feels to me like Vivi's been really wasteful with all the units he's created. We have seen Karambits sacrificed time and time again. And the Monks as well. Like, had the Karambits stayed alive, had Monks gotten conversions, it's a very different game. Viper clears it up. I mean, Viper hasn't lost that much eco. He will lose 2 fishing ships now, but he's on farms. He won't mind. And now he simply just drops a castle here. Now, that 5% we talked about in the early game, that affects the building here as well. But there's a mangonel at 80% here. I think for Viper, though, honestly, I think you may choose to dive with the Knights to take that mango if there's any concern this castle gets denied. You do that, though, and then the Knights could get converted. Actually, 1 converted Karambit's accomplishing a lot here. Viper doesn't see enough Monks, and yeah, Viper will dive. Viper loses a Knight, but he takes the mango, meaning his castle will complete, meaning he's got a 2-castle stack on this gold. So Viper's got 3 Knights. He's got 2 Scouts. He's got a Scorpion. He's got 50 villagers. It's 62 villagers for Vivi. Vivi can still take gold. This is one of the more unique El Dorado games we've seen. This is the first time that we've seen 2 players sharing the gold. Do you get your gold mining upgrades? Probably, but like, if you mine through the gold too quickly, you're going to be at the enemy. That's kind of the funny thing about it. I want to check res collected here, guys. It's very close. But Vivi's had just a little bit behind Viper due to the food situation. Viper's done a great job there. I mean, it's not the craziest farming eco ever, but it is better than Vivi. Vivi doesn't even have mills here. He's playing this like he's Khmer. It cleans up the archers there from Viper. You know, it just... You come into this series, you get the position that you want against Viper, and then he ends up with the double castle stack anyways. It really feels like a game 1 of the tournament for Viper where... especially these days, right? It needs a lot more time to warm up. It feels like Viper's going to be pretty comfortable with this position. Vivi's got to make something happen. Again, Monk's sacrificed. You don't have full access to gold anymore, right? So this could be seen as a pretty big loss again. At least he keeps 1 alive. And at least Vivi has 2 relics. And here come those Karambit warriors. Viper does not have a big army to protect this. And so Viper has to drop a line of houses here. What a fun game. Vivi wants to click up to Imp as well. This will be a bit of a Treb War situation soon. Just remember, Viper's got 2 castles. I feel like Viper also could maybe use the choke points with a lot of gates and walls, but what a great opening from Vivi. Vivi's got a nice eco lead over the Viper. And he hasn't really shied away from aggression against this guy. As you can see, as the Karambits are just going to go down again. It's been a sad day to be a Karambit warrior, let me tell you. But Vivi will be in the Imperial Age faster than the Viper. That much we know. Unless, of course, a TC gets deleted. Vivi's on 3 TCs. He's got more food eco than his opponent. He just has 1 castle in the middle, which could be the concern. And he, you know, is running dangerously low on golds here. What's interesting is that Viper's Civ doesn't get Bracer. So, you know, his castles won't get any more range than they already have. Vivi does get Bracer. So, I mean, you're starting to see villagers get really close over here. Vivi's done a good job at saving them. Vivi's going to go for pikemen. Now, in the event that Vivi loses access to gold, I think pikemen's not going to feel all that strong because Viper's going to have gold. Viper's got cheap Scorpions with the Romans. I haven't mentioned why you make Scorpions with Romans. They're cheap. They're affected by ballistics after a tech, which Viper may or may not get. I think we're pretty far removed from that. And then also the infantry line for the Romans. They're really strong. So, like, going pikes against Romans, one of the worst things you could do. The first Treb's on the way for Vivi. And what a fun game. As Viper's going to loop around here with these knights. Vivi never really walled this. Feel like there's been an opportunity. Could be a little distracted. Viper's got nothing at home to defend that main eco. Nothing. Like, the Karambits could easily loop in there now. And Melee these days, they get that armor upgrade for free. All the armor upgrades come in for free. Viper knows he's exposed here. He saw the Karambits go this way. So props to him as he loops around this way, but Vivi also sees Vipers here. The first Treb is out. Now, what I'm thinking is you need to make sure that these do not get sniped by something. So that's why he's making pikes. I wouldn't mind to see a couple gates and stone walls. The pikes are headed over here. And have the Karambit warriors been walled in? Has Viper trapped the Karambits? Viper has trapped 16 Karambit warriors here. How? How did this happen? Vivi's like, what? How? He doesn't understand it himself. He needs to break out quickly. Oh my god. We will rewatch that moment, but we need to look to the middle. Viper is behind by 30 eco here, right? Is hoping he can win this Treb war at least. And so many times Viper has just made it so, you know, the fact that Vivi has Karambits doesn't matter. Because of just crazy defense. Ridiculous trap from Viper. A necessary trap from Viper because Viper still doesn't have a ton of army. And Viper's currently, you know, close to taking out a Treb that Vivi needs to repair. Vivi's got 3 Trebs. He takes out 1 of Viper's castles. Now, will Vivi be able to engage underneath Viper's castle here? I think Viper, you know, if he can add a couple more Scorpions, maybe even a Centurion here, just add anything to protect his Trebs, that's the key. But Viper will aim to use his Trebs against Vivi's Trebs. Vivi will aim to somehow get his Trebs on Viper's castle. Viper has nothing on stone. Viper has to keep his castle up to have a chance. Still. Despite everything that's happened here. And that means his Trebs have to hit Vivi's Trebs. And honestly, you know, it's looking a little awkward right now. Vivi needs to use that Vil difference he has to repair these Trebs. You need to repair with your life here. Even if you need 10 villagers to repair each one, you do it. He's still got some gold here. He has the 2 relics. There goes Viper with the knights. But Viper can't engage because the pikemen are there. Viper, look at the market. Selling everything he's got here just to buy stone. And those pikemen, they will die. But the pikemen could maybe help out here in some way. The knights from Viper dive. Oh, Vivi, maybe you needed to leave the pikemen here. Knights for Viper going for a Treb. His Trebs weren't able to do it. His knights are going to get 1. His knights still, there's no pikemen here, guys. The knights are going to get 2. And the knights are going to get 3. Vivi advancing forward with the pikemen was a disastrous decision for him. Oh, man. I think he just, like, he really felt like he needed to force the issue. And he ran right into Viper's Scorpions, right into that castle fire. The castle's got 10 kills. And now Viper has a castle up. He doesn't need to repair it anymore. And he's got a Civ with cheap Scorpions. Honestly, guys, I think Vivi strategically and macro-wise, all those decisions, I think he's been twice as good in this game. It's just been the fights. Viper has taken much better fights. But in terms of the timings of attacks, in terms of what we've seen, I've been really impressed with Vivi. But now he's got to try and find his way out of this. I mean, he's not going to have much gold income. And he's not able to make Trebs anymore to take out Viper's castle. So, you know, 100 eco for Vivi. He's still got good food and wood eco. But with the way the score is looking right now, I'm sure there's some concern for him. Viper's dropped the tower here to protect his stone and gold miners. Vivi is on Halb. Now, Halb should be amazing here. I'd love to see Vivi get chemistry. Then you can make bombard cannons. He's just producing a lot of Halbs at the moment. And he's trying to engage against these Scorpions and the Trebs, which, all honesty, is a possibility for him. Good micro with the mango. Castle's now up to 13 kills. This Mangonel's dodging Treb shots. And Viper's trying to go skirmishers here? Why? I really don't understand that decision. The skirmishers for the Romans are not the best. And I feel like with the food and with the gold, Viper should be teching into Man-at-Arms. And then Legionaries, right? If he's back on gold. Viper losing villagers still. Viper seems real insistent upon going Knights against a player who's going for Halbs, against a player who pretty much can only afford Halb, because they do not have access to gold, at least up until recently. Mangonels and Halbs maybe in a position to actually take a Treb. And wait, who is it that doesn't have gold? Is it Viper? Oh my god, those monks. Is it Viper or is it Vivi? Who is it? Because I'm not seeing any Viper gold miners right now. Is Viper's Trebs? Oh man, Viper's Trebs are so close to going down. If Vivi had one more Mangonel, he would have taken all 3 Trebs. Viper can't repair. Viper losing his Trebs to Halbs and Knights that were converted. He's lost 1. He's going to lose 2. He's going to lose 3. He's run out of steam here, guys. What a game. What a hold from Vivi. Like, what is with this week where players who are underdogs just have confidence to keep fighting? We're so used to some of these big players defending once or twice and then having their way with the position on the map. This is sick from Vivi. I think at the very least, Viper's current choice of unit composition is a little questionable. But maybe he also is thinking that, like, I honestly, maybe he recognized that he would not be able to hold on to this gold for very long. That probably would explain the skirmisher light cav decision. He is now actually planning for life without gold, which is not what I thought a player would do who kind of had the gold, you know? The fact that you get the armor upgrades on your infantry instantly and for free is such a big change to the melee. I know a lot of pro players that weren't happy about that. They think it's too strong. I kind of agree in some ways. Melee are already really good. Now, Vivi's got to make sure. This is where Viper's going to start to snipe in other areas. Vivi's got to make sure he can pay attention to this. It's really hard to do that while also paying attention to the middle, where he's just got mangoes and Halbs. And look at him repair the mangoes time and time again to push Viper's tower here. He's done a really impressive job. Nice snipe there from Viper, or attempt anyways, but Vivi keeps another mango alive. Viper skirms. Questionable position. Viper's tower and Viper's castle have 60 of his kills. 60. 1/3. And Viper's building up more stone. Vivi needs bombard cannons now. He has chemistry. Bombard cannons. They will have the range that he needs. The 2-to-1 KD for Viper. Can Vivi do it? Can Viper finish it off? Can Viper hold on to this golden stone area? It's ridiculous how close quarters this game is. There's still water to think about as Viper goes for guard tower now. But, you know, tower could very well just be pushed right back by a bombard cannon, which is now on the way for Vivi. But I think guard tower is a pretty big change for now. Vivi will need some patience here, and it's hard to have that because he's just been forcing the issue constantly. Guard tower, even though it doesn't have bracer, right? Typically in Castle Age, you go guard tower, bodkin arrow to push back 2 or 3 mangonels. And that's what Viper's accomplished. Love the tower decision. It makes life a whole lot easier for Viper and more difficult for Vivi. Vivi's kind of torn. I'm sure there's a thought where he might want to counterattack, because Viper, honestly, is really exposed. The Halbraid would actually be really good, but he's so fixated on the middle right now. And as he's fixated on the middle, Viper will fall back with the skirms towards these towers, which again do a great job. And Viper is finding pickoffs here on this wood line. Vivi's starting to fall apart a little bit. It's a lot of focus on these repairs. But the bombard cannons will take down the towers very quickly. Great job from Vivi to utilize these choke points with the houses and palisades to make it awkward for Viper to engage. Viper finding more areas for villager kills, though. Finds another one. Finding more here. Would like to see Viper, if he can get the gold, maybe make a fire galley or 2. Maybe try and find the fish. Maybe that's too much to ask, even a Viper. Viper is making another tower, but I think that will actually go down. This game is ridiculous. And it's bringing me back, folks. It's bringing me back. I love it. You can tell the Viper, he really feels like he has to do damage to the other areas of Vivi's eco right now. But I think, honestly, I think what happens now is that Viper loses middle. He will lose the tower right away. There's no way you stop those cannons. But, like, he's going to lose middle, but Vivi's losing everything else. And Viper could start to really build up a force to, you know, continue to raid the sides. Viper could maybe gain a big eco lead. And that castle doesn't have much life left on it. Viper's getting redemption for one monk that's on the way, so we can convert the bombard cannons. Vivi's getting supplies. Thinking about maybe going for long swords or something. But yeah, you just need an answer to this. Honestly, though, I think Halbs is fine. Halbs against Roman skirms? I think you're actually okay with that. It's good enough. You're fully armored. They don't have full attack. For now, Viper's castle still stands. He's now going for block printing. Man, that monk is so important to Viper's chances right now. And it's so important to him having gold access in the middle. Okay, he started the conversion. He's going to get it. Vivi doesn't know what's happening. He just realized. Now, you just got to make sure this thing doesn't kill the other cannons that are out there. Because Viper just tried. Viper just tried. So close. He gets it! The freaking value! The value is insane there. So he took out 2 cannons because of that one monk. And now the castle. Oh, God. And guys, Viper's still got stuff all around here, right? Like, he's still killing stuff. Vivi cannot keep up with it. And it, you know, it's just like, what do I always say? If you're having trouble in an important area, make it messy for the opponent at their base. This is a classic example of it. Vivi cannot focus as much on the middle due to the raids. So as he goes to deal with the raids, he doesn't realize what's happening in the middle. There he does, though. Viper didn't even have Sanctity, which is really rare. Usually you always prioritize that so the bomber cannons can't kill your monks. The fact that he didn't have that, though, I think tells you everything about his eco. And another bomber cannon gets converted. Yeah, Romans don't get bomber cannons, guys, but they can just convert them. And so Viper hasn't lost the middle now. He will complete another tower, a tower that cannot be pushed back. Viper now has a similar eco count because it's 72 to 73. The idle time is far less for him. And I think the swordsman switch was a bait. I think the swordsman, as you just saw, they're going to die to this many skirms and to the guard towers. And Viper gets the job done in game number 1. That was a great performance from Vivi, though, and an amazing Eldorado game. My goodness. Romans don't get Sanctity. Oh, really? I didn't even know, honestly. I've never once seen someone go redemption and block printing with Romans. They're still kind of new, you know? Viper gets 91 eco kills in this game and only lost 39. Again, I'll restate what I said. I think Vivi's approach was better. I think his strategy was better. I think his eco balance, everything, his buildup was better. But I think Viper was able to get value with creative moments. Like the trapping of the Karambits here, you know, it killed 15 Karambit warriors that could have otherwise had some type of an effect. The conversions and the bombard cannons, those special moments is what won Viper this game. So there is some worry, I mean, in terms of the long run, right? It's like, okay, well, is Viper going to have a lackluster approach to the next game because this, you know, maybe Vivi could get wins? There could be some worry. But, you know, what's the saying? Like, form is temporary, class is permanent. The form wasn't there for Viper, and I think he has to go to the drawing board in the long run on this map. But the class was there. That was sick. 2 to 1 KD is very rare in Age of Empires 2. This castle had 51 kills. This guard tower here, I guess it's a new one, so we kind of missed it. But yeah, I didn't hotkey it, so I don't know when it happened. I wanted to see how that trap happened, because it didn't seem like it made sense to me at the time. Also, I think it's fair to say that Vivi also just took really bad fights with the Scrambits. Like, yeah, Viper trapped him, but he threw a lot of army. He threw a lot of monks as well. Okay, wait, what? Okay, so here are the Karambits. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. He trapped himself. Vivi. Vivi, bro. You know who you're playing against. What are you doing going in there? Oh. Well, I hope for Vivi's sake he's not too demotivated after that, because he played well enough to get a win. Sometimes if you play well enough to get a win, and you know, you just think you threw. And I think Vivi may consider that a throw. He lost so much army. Did a great job, though. Viper gets the win game 1. We'll move on to the future maps. All right, so if there's any question on if Viper wanted to experiment a little bit, I think that question has been answered. Now, he is in love with the Dravidians. It feels as though Dravidians is the civ of the year for him. Here we are, Viper, on an open lands map. Not a civilization, not a map that incorporates any water and any of the real hybrid bonuses of the Dravidians. Viper's going to play Dravidians here, game number 2. Opens up an opportunity for Vivi because Vivi loves his open lands maps, and he loves to, play Arabia-style maps. I think Dravidians are solid there, but maybe not necessarily the best. But I think Vivi has taken a risk. He wants to get walls down. So let's see. Is that a possibility for him? It is a possibility. It's definitely possible. It's not near as wallable as that one generation he got against Sobek. Guys, Viper is, game number 1. I didn't like his strategy. All right? I didn't think his strat was that good. I didn't really see the benefit of picking the Romans. He got the job done, obviously. Could have easily lost that game. Here, he goes for the Dravidians. It would be pretty interesting if Viper goes for his flavor of the month, flavor of the year civ. A civ that a lot of other people think horrible on this type of map, that he wants to prove people wrong. Would be pretty interesting if Viper then loses here. And Vivi has 2 wins so far after 4 games in TTL Platinum. Viper now has 2 wins after 2 rounds of TTL Platinum. I think for Vivi, it's going to be a matter of how greedy do you want to play? Because, again, against Sobek, we started to look at the map script to try and avoid certain things that happened in that script. It's quite rare, but he tried to get walls down and go for the stone and gold and get into that unique unit. I think it's going to be really tough here. I do really like the Dravidians with their openings. But I think you have to play the Dravidians a specific way to make use of their bonuses. Otherwise, they feel lackluster. I'm curious to see what Viper's opening will be here. The civ can be very similar to the Japanese on any map, but, you can compare them on an Arabia-style map as well. Man-at-arms, archers, you can play towards infantry and archers the whole game. But if your opponent makes a lot of skirms, yes, you do have superior skirms. Can be a problem at times because then your infantry is countered and your ranged units are countered as well. But comfort picks are a big thing. I know with Viper, there's a little bit more of that narrative, right? There's a little bit more backstory to it because there's been a lot of convo about the Dravidians recently. But I personally feel as though you should always, as a pro player, play towards your comforts with your map picks and your civs. I've realized that more and more as I've competed, right? I have tried many times to play against my opponent's strengths and not play towards my strengths. And I've regretted it afterwards. And so I think for Viper here, that's exactly what this is. As he's pushed in a lot of deer. He's going to go for the barracks. This could be man-at-arms for him. So he's going to need a house if he wants to have the population space for that. And both players being greedy. Vivi does have the Feudal Age wood upgrade in already, though, being the Burgundians. Cheaper eco upgrades. Research them in age earlier. I think, Vivi, you can't just go full wall here. Without army. You need to have some type of army. And you better be prepared because Dravidians can have a nice little early spike. The plus 200 wood they get in the next age can lead to a very solid archer opening. So, main thing here for Viper is he doesn't have the wood just yet. This is why I prefer Japanese, actually. Because you already saved the wood. It affects your build now. You could have the mining camp going up. You don't have to play this type of game that Viper has to play. This type of stuff is annoying. At least on a water map, you save wood because your dock gives you pop space. So it feels like there's a bit more savings, but yeah. Anyways, a little late if he wants to go for the proper man-at-arm play, and he's gonna go with villagers. But he's pushed in deer this whole time. He doesn't even know where Vivi is, and there's Vivi with his walls. By the way, just feels like classic Vivi, classic Viper for those that have been around with me for a long time. The I Know Pig games, oh man, there's just so many fun ones. If you've never seen the I Know Pig video, I'm trying to remember. It was back when Vivi was known as Fat Dragon. It was like Fat Dragon versus Viper. I recall it being Saracens against Malay, I think. Anyways, Viper has found Vivi. He sees the berries. And Vivi knew that Viper is coming forward, and immediately the pressure's on here, and there's going to be a tower right there on those berries from Vivi. But it was so funny. Viper stole Vivi's boar. And it was also on the back of them playing like 10 games a day against each other. Viper stole Vivi's boar. Vivi then said, I know pig. Viper said, me love you, pig. Oh, it was so good. So now, like, you need to have the farms, right? And you wanted to just, like, have as much food as income as possible to be greedy with eco upgrades. So you've denied some food income here from Vivi. And Vivi's played greedy. And Vivi's just going to try and play tower defense. And Viper's going to steal more pigs. And Viper kills that one. TC Fire is going to kill the rest of them, possibly. And, oh, God, this is... Oh, God, Viper's just... I mean, whether or not you could call it a Dravidian power or not, I'm not sure. But Viper has taken away the berries and then the 300 food that was underneath the TC. Yeah, good luck booming now, Vivi. Good luck. Because you've lost, like, 600 food that's possible for you to bring it in the future. And now you're just going to be playing tower defense. Really good early aggression from Viper. He kept his scout alive as well. Insanely impressive value from just the units he had walked forward with. And, you know, he walled in this tower fully, so it can't be rushed down. He's going to find value. Now, I wonder if Viper will see this tree and think, can I tree hop that? Because I don't think you should be able to. I think if it's 2 trees, you shouldn't be able to. You can maybe do it on individual trees. Vivi's worried, though. Vivi's going to stone wall. And how's the eco back at home for Viper? Well, he's housed. He's housed really badly. He's making a house at home and on the front. So Viper hasn't killed a villager. And, you know, so he's going to be behind an eco now. And now his push has kind of stopped. And honestly, you got 8 farms for Vivi. You got 2 farms for Viper. This is where the push kind of falls flat a little bit. If he can't find more damage. I think he's just going to tower this wood line here in a second. But I'll check res collected right now and see where we're at. Vivi's still collected more because of the wood. And that wood leads to farms. And he's got a lot of farms. So all Vivi wants, guys, is to survive to Castle Age and a castle. That's all his whole game plan here. He's going to be in the dark the whole way through it seems. I think it's honestly possible that he could do it. The preemptive tower here means that Viper can't really threaten. Viper will probably try and disrupt the wood line here. Because when you get this tower up and you see Vivi leave, you know Vivi's going to head to another wood line. But Vivi will know that this is now where he's exposed. This is insane, dude. Like, Vivi trying this is just so to style, it's not even funny. This is not how Graveyard is played by anybody else. You'd think if anyone can punish him, it would be Viper. But here's my issue with Dravidians. In the long run, it's awkward, right? Like, if things go according to plan, yeah, they could dominate. And he did everything he could to set Vivi back. But in the long run, I'm not sure if this is going to be a great moment for Viper. You could tell Viper, as he drops the market, drops the house here, you can tell he's a little concerned. Guys, I have noticed Viper get housed more in the past year than I've ever seen him get housed in the 5 years prior. Has anyone else noticed that when watching Viper games? It's been like borderline MBL level at this point, which is really fascinating trend. Was never a concern for him in the past. But, you know, maybe it's sloppy games, right? Sloppy games, sloppy styles. Another tower goes up for Vivi. Res collected now, guys. Vivi's still ahead. Viper's going to try and rush Castle Age. Viper's going to try and get a tower down here to deny the only wood line for Vivi. And this is the right play. If you attack a farm, guys, farmers cannot farm on them. So Viper can actually disrupt 3 farms now by just clicking different farms. He's still going to opt to place a tower here. I think this tower, yeah, that's actually still a really good tower. Vivi will probably just use the wood he has for a market here soon and start to buy some food. Because look, like, every time he's getting close, I don't understand the trend. Okay, no, he's making a house here. Like, if I get housed 2 or 3 times in a row, I get angry and I just place like 6 of them, you know? I don't know if you guys can relate. But he's learning. He's got his house there. He's going to research fletching so he can disrupt the wood line. Vivi's getting that castle, guys. There is no world in which Vivi does not get the castle. And when Vivi gets that castle, he could get some of the wood back and the stone. And then Viper's base is going to be wide freaking open. And Viper's going to have to play some crazy defense. I'm really excited to see how this goes. Also, it's funny, Vivi repairing the farms because he doesn't want to lose it. You don't see it every day. I think Viper needs to bring his archers inside of this tower. You could actually shoot down Vivi's tower. Vivi does not have fletching right now. But Vivi has his buildings. And Vivi clicks up. And he's repairing the farm again. Saving that for later. There's 200 food on it, baby. I don't know. I would just give it up. But it is funny to look at. There goes Viper with another tower. I love how Viper has fully walled in every tower. I think this one could still kind of be attacked from the angles, but you need to make certain that when Vivi gets his castle, because he's going to get his castle, that there's still a lot of other areas that you are controlling. So this one needs to be fully walled in as well. This is Viper trying to punish Vivi for being as defensive as we've possibly ever seen on Graveyard. This is just wild. Like, and Viper's gonna go, supplies! Why? Just for me? Okay, thanks, Viper. He canceled it. I was gonna say, if you're expecting the unique unit from the Burgundians, Swordsman's not the answer. I think Pikes is a good play. And the Pike upgrade is discounted with the Dravidian, so I think Pikemen and then Monks. Anyways, I think we can agree. Like, guys, I would never suggest to you, if you were to play this map, that you should play like Vivi is playing right now, okay? However, if you can be up against Viper, have less idle TC time than him, have just as many resources collected, and you're going to drop a castle at the start of Castle Age, I don't think you can say no to doing it, right? Vivi's going to drop his castle there. And once the castle completes, if the castle completes, because Viper was blocking the foundation, he can then get access to gold again, because this tower will go down. I mean, not gold again, but it's actually a really interesting choice. Viper killed the villager there. I would have actually preferred to see Vivi build it somewhere where you can get wood again. Anyways, Viper sees the castle's going up. We'll be happy at how delayed it is. But maybe actually now that I think about it, this will take out 2 towers, and the other castle would just take out 1. So that could be part of it. Vivi, save your weak villagers here. You should understand the importance of that. And looks like he has. And he's got knights heading out to Viper's base. Does he know where Viper is? Nope. Sorry, I screamed. Nope. Doesn't know where Viper is. What is this crap, bro? Repairing farms. Hasn't scouted the enemy. It's so weird. It's so funny. It's so unique. Like, he picks this map. A very open map. And he plays passive on it. It's very weird. Like it's like if you're a closed map player, you pick a closed map player. You play a closed map. You pick an open map. You may like match scouts, lots of archers, lots of upgrades, blah blah blah. You do all that stuff, but you don't do this usually, unless you're Vivi. Let's see how Viper defends, man, because this is gonna be rough. He's got 3 TCs, so he will have more villagers than Vivi. But Vivi is going to have the control over this game. And Viper does react there. Viper now shows a monk. And Vivi deletes... Oh, God, that's horrible, actually. Deletes one of them and loses the other one. So great defense from Viper. Vivi's got to make a new mill to take his berries right now. A really good start for Viper as he wants a big vill count, right? Big vill count. Eventually, cheap pikemen could be really good. Spear's getting some hits. Vivi sacrificed a lot for this. And I think Viper will be very happy with how things have gone thus far. Especially if he kills this. You should never, ever, ever lose that. No, no. Can't happen. You've got a castle nearby. You're top 24. Oh, man. Now Viper's used the knight he just converted to kill more villagers than Vivi's entire army in early Castle Age has done thus far. Oh, this is just Viper things. And well played from Viper. Vivi. Low confidence, perhaps? What happened to Viper's villagers here? Oh! Oh, crap. Okay, 2 of them are walled. This is an interesting sight, my friends. This is like... They have... I can't quite find the words to describe this. But this is maybe the start of a scary movie or something. You've got the army on the outside of the houses. And you need to repair. I hope you don't run out of wood. And you're also in a graveyard of some kind. Yeah, maybe I see. It seems like there's a body here, but there's no body here. Maybe that is their own grave. Anyways, funny stuff. Viper's going to lose that monk. Doink, but not before getting a conversion, which you'll take. You'll trade a monk for a conversion at this stage. You have the better economy. And Vivi. He's on the forward wood line. Viper will know it, so I could see Viper sending his units there. And now the monks start to disappear. This is the problem, is the snowball with this unit. They do so much damage with the initial attack that you look away for a second with your monks, you're going to lose all of them. And so Viper has to pull off here. Now, I really think the pike upgrade should be coming in. Viper understands the Dravidians maybe more than most, or so he would claim. And I think if that's the case here, pikemen should be coming in. It's a cheap upgrade. And Vivi's going to lose another Coustier here. He does. It took a while, but he does. And Viper defends again. Viper dropping a castle over here on the hill. Protects more of the wood line. Wood is actually the most difficult resource for him to take at the moment. And the villagers are still here, by the way. They're still here. And they are thinking about if they want to end their lives themselves, or if they want to give the bad guy the power and the thrill of it. What is that, by the way? What is that? Why is that there? Actually, that's the body of one of their friends. They buried her. That's what it is. Oh, my God. Okay, well, here comes Viper again. Last time he sent the knights to the wood line. He's also got some vision from his archery range. So he knows... Wait! Viper's gonna save him! Viper's gonna save him! Just repair! You've got safety on... You've got protection on the way. They've just got to make a pit stop. I think it really says something that Viper is finding more value from Vivi's units than Vivi has found from his own units. Really says something about how good players are at getting value from their armies, right? Vivi, it's felt very one-dimensional. And if you watch the first game as well, I think Vivi struggled to take good fights. Alright, so here comes Viper. He's going to save those villagers, guys. He's such a nice guy. Meanwhile, obviously needs to defend the main eco. They're going to jump on pikes every day. This is Vivi's favorite thing to do. And jump on those pikes. You'll kill them pretty quickly, but there's bonus damage, and then you hear the conversions, and that's not so good. And wow, there's a wolf here as well. Wow, there's so many dimensions to this story. Vivi notices this. And so those 2 villagers are going to live to tell the tale. I wouldn't surprise me if Viper wants to build a castle. Conversion came in. All the pikes died because the initial attack from QCA is just insane. Vivi's got 13 of them. The villager's still there. Wolf's still chasing these units that are looking for more kills. Viper does not see that Vivi's on stone there, and that's important. We'll probably notice in a moment. The snake, though, 30 villager lead, guys. And, I think he's going to drop a castle here with those 2 villagers. It actually makes sense. That's an important area for Vivi. I mean, I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, actually. I think it's very risky when you could be pushed at home to start building castles with 2 villagers, but it is something that I think he's confident he can do. Pikes get the clear up here as Viper reacts here. Does take losses, but again, getting decent conversion still. Another conversion comes in for Viper. More barracks being dropped from Viper. Vivi now with the siege workshop. And Viper... Oh, no. There's only 1 vill now. And she's going to build a castle. What happened to the other? I think Viper chopped the tree and she went to go drop off the wood somewhere and died. I think. So 1 villager from Viper building a castle in the back of Vivi's base. Again, Viper's like 28-4 against Vivi in tournaments in terms of the game wins. Vivi can see that castle's happening. Like, this castle should never complete. Viper still needs to shift his attention to what's going on at home. Again, another monk, hoping for a conversion. Another monk. Not getting a... did get a conversion. Now the pikes come out. And it feels like Vivi's scorpions could be helpful, but Viper's got such a big economy. If only he could just make a castle here to protect this area. If only. I still think Viper will be happy with these trades. It is a unique unit and an expensive unique unit for Vivi that he's making. And Viper snags the scorpion right before the unit he was using goes down. It's so well played. And the castle's still going up. It's at 53%. There's just pikes everywhere. I think Vivi must know now that his window has closed. And Viper is just looking like he's in cruise control at this point. Yep, there we go. Okay. So now you've just lost all that stone. But it doesn't matter, right? Like, it's just confidence plays. And I think low confidence from Vivi, yes, it is his skill set. It is something he did before, but I think it's low confidence trying to play this way on a home map. Ultimately, though, Prop maybe gave him his best chance. He did win with it in the previous game. When he played up against the Magyars on this map in week 1. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, just passing. And Vivi calls the GG. Viper, I think we know where he was going. I think Viper was headed over here. And for Vivi, he doesn't have much army anymore. He sees the score, and I'm pretty sure he knew this game is over. So, you know, I'm a little bummed for Vivi because I still haven't forgotten game number 1 where I think Vivi played so well. But Viper's confidence is high. Viper played very clean. And, you know, he didn't kill that many villagers with the initial attack, but he really did control the map. And it took Vivi so long to claw his way back and get his map control. And by the time he ended up having attacks heading over towards Viper, Viper was prepared on 3 or 4 town centers. Viper's economy was fantastic. He had 7,000 more resources collected. It's not every day you can say that against the Burgundians. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this one. Remember, you should still have the same thought process in your mind if you're Vivi. 1 win against Viper is huge. Forget game 1 and game number 2. You get 1 win, and if you get that 1 win, then suddenly you don't have to fear as much. A lot of other players are going to struggle to get that 1 win too. That's the beauty of this format, is that every win matters. The sad thing I would say for Vivi is I think his best civilization for game number 3 was actually the Burgundians. It's a closed map. It's the wall where Burgundians could possibly shine. So we can see what he ends up picking there. But not that confident that Vivi's going to be able to snag a victory right now based on how the draft looks and how well Viper seems to face up against him here. We'll never know. We'll find out. All right, so here we are. Game number 3, catching up to speed. Vivi, with his number 1 pick here, has gone for the Aztecs. Viper, with his number 2 pick, has gone for the Portuguese, the civilization he's been a big fan of and has played very strong with in his career. Through, you know, various balance changes, Viper's always been very good with the Portuguese. And they are very good now. They're very good in all settings, and we've seen Portuguese picked a lot from gold all the way up to platinum on this map. And what we've normally seen is the castle approach, where the players will go for a forward castle on the neutral wall here, so somewhere around here or here. They break through with that castle, they make a couple organ guns for some type of reaction, and then kind of adapt from there. But it's not the organ guns that I think are strong. I think it's the fact that the organ guns... Look at all the straggler trees. Is this a bug? Maybe I just never noticed them before. That is a lot of stragglers. Anyways, it's not the organ guns necessarily. It's the fact that organ guns need... The best answer that most players feel like they can go for against organs is monks. And then since Portuguese gold units are cheaper, Viper will probably plan on just making his own monks to convert the monks. And yes, Aztecs are really, really, really good with their own monks, but the Aztec bonus on monks is more HP. So if they convert your monk, they just have that strong monk with that fancy hat on their side then, right? Like the HP bonus only helps if people are making actual units to fight the monks. Otherwise, Aztecs just have generic monks. We did make some tweaks to the to where the animals spawn on this map because of the bug that the patch introduced, where the players would not actually hear if they were being attacked by wild animals. So we had the instances where players were losing villagers, which is really bad. I think it was just one instance actually, but there was a couple where it was really close. And anyways, so we just decided to just move the dragons up against the wall in a more strict position. Sometimes they'd be in other areas, so it just makes it a bit easier to play. But you will hear them hissing a bunch. You know what I want to see that we're never going to see, but I think it'd be so epic? Siege tower with eagles. Listen, game 1 dejected you, okay? Vivi will have known I should have won game 1. I threw so much army there. Okay? Game 2, you try something risky, but then you probably feel borderline humiliated. Game 3, you're up against Portuguese. This is Viper's home map. This is not Vivi's strong suit at all. I'd be shocked if Vivi's ever even played this map. I'm pretty sure he got a message from Lix that said, hey, don't try and attack it with villagers, the wall, because that doesn't work, because we saw Lix try that. Right after I said, Lix is coming in unprepared, Lix decided to do that, and you can't kill it with vills. Or so he found out. So yeah, I don't know. I could see a bit of a YOLO play. And if you think Viper's going to build a castle, you could maybe hop right over that wall with eagles and have a chance. I mean, it is Viper. He'll probably quick wall it. And then I'm going to be left here saying, well, you shouldn't have gone eagles against Viper. But it feels like it's a worthy attempt, you know? I feel like it could be interesting. Now, because there's relics on the map, at the very least, Aztecs do get 33% more gold per relic, so that's not bad. And Aztec eco is really good. So if this is like a boom or fast import, it could be okay. I wonder if Viper's going to make monks, guys. There's our answer. Scout beats Komodo Dragon. Viper is a weak scout. That is just because Viper knows that Boar is next to the Komodo Dragon. He doesn't want a villager to be attacked by that. He will most likely heal that up later with a monk, or he'll be hopping inside of the castle. One or the other. Does the wall literally not take damage from vills, or does it take too long? So I, up to that point, I'd never seen anyone attempt it. The existence of the Komodo dragons was always, in my mind, a deterrent, but I'd never seen someone try it. When he tried it, the villagers repair the wall. So, his scout was attacking, so his scout did damage to it, and then the villagers would repair the wall. But he didn't have to spend any stone to repair it, so he wasn't spending any res. But yeah, it was really weird. And I can see why a player might think it's a nice idea to try and feudal rush the wall, because you look at the wall and it's 1,000 HP. But when you're going to be the underdog in every single series you play, and the goal for you is to stay promoted, the best thing you can do for yourself as a player is to prepare and practice some things. So after it felt clear to me that Lix had done 0 practice games in the first 2 games of that series, I then was really frustrated and really sad to see that he went into the third game and clearly tried something he'd never practiced. Was that a re when Lix found out? No, it wasn't a re. It's part of the map. Practice it one time, and then you get that answer. And that was just a confirmation of it. So I'm a little bummed because I'm such a big Lix fan. I did expect Lix to really struggle to stay up. But thus far, he's 0-6 in his group, and it's been rough. I think there's going to be less incentive for someone who's 0-6 to also really try and prepare for the last 3 rounds, because it's going to be such a tough journey, but we'll see. Viper gone up a bit later. Viper has not gone to stone. Vivi has used the flexibility of some of the Aztec bonuses here, or one of the Aztec bonuses, quite nicely. You start with 150 gold. And then he went with just 1 on gold initially, so he could have a few more vills on food, and now he sends more to gold. This will be monks. And Viper, what are you doing, dude? Is he done the math? Okay, he's done the math. I was going to say, don't lose that. That tells me Viper maybe wants to build in this region then, right? But he didn't go stone, so no castle for him then. This could be a crazy monk war, man. I think it might just be monks and booming. But right now, we've got 5 on gold. That'll take you to a couple hundred gold by the time you're in castle. And then I think at least 1 monk comes out. Viper, 3 on gold. More of an eco approach build. He's going to have good food eco. He doesn't have a barracks or a stable, so he won't be making scouts. I think this is Viper just booming and adapting, basically. But this is not a build that I've seen at all with Portuguese. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but I think this is just Viper, right? He's getting a feel for the maps right now. He's very comfortable against Vivi, and Portuguese are very flexible. So I think he's just going to adapt to what's happening. We'll see. Yo, Mr. Potato, glad you could make it. Yeah, Zawal is a map that we got from another tourney. I only imagine they probably did the testing. It was a closed map tourney. They probably did the testing to determine what's good for it, what's not. So yeah, it was news to me when the villager repair thing happened. But I'm guessing that I personally am happy with that, because if it's just like a tower fest and scouts, then it's not the closed map we wanted. It was kind of an arena replacement is what we wanted for the season. So that not being a possibility is good for the theme of the map, I would say. Okay, so Vivi goes second TC for eco. And then he goes monastery, a bit more on the back. And he will get all 3 of those relics pretty quickly. Both scouts just looking at each other over here. Viper scout not interested in helping break down this wall. And Viper's just sitting there, looking around, looking to see if he can see anything on the other side. I think that's Vivi too right now. He's like, are you making a castle over there, bro? They might be talking to each other. I'm not sure if scouts from these civilizations would be able to understand each other, but they could be using hand motions that we can't really see. Maybe like... I don't know what they'd be communicating about. The joke ends there. How do... Aztecs would be like, have you ever had the flu? How do we beat this? The second TC going up for Viper on stone, which is an intentional decision. So that's going to be for a earlier castle, but that's the same from Vivi. So the idea is you don't want everything new on stone. You want some on stone. You want to be able to adjust it. And then otherwise you're going on wood, which is good for your eco. They've both basically done the same thing here, guys. This is like the same build on either side of the wall, which is pretty epic. Now, things could change, obviously, in a moment. Once they, they basically had to decide on if they want to go 3 town centers or not. I think Viper's food eco should be way better. In fact, his eco upgrades are insane. And this is why the slower castle age is sometimes better in the long run. Res collected, Viper's ahead. Should be ahead in food and wood in the long term. Gold most likely going to be higher for Vivi because of the relics. But a lot of that does also come into, how much do you put onto the gold. Feels natural for a third TC right now for Vivi. I think he may do that. Okay, so now the monks are going to encounter each other on the other side. Vivi has to be careful. He's being attacked by a Komodo. And Viper's scout was healed up earlier, like we had said. Vivi's going to be fine. And I mean, it makes sense for both players to get atonement right now to convert each other's monks, right? You just had Viper on the other side of the wall with monks. Surely atonement comes into queue now. Look at Viper's food count. Already prepping the university. He's idling as well. This is intentional from him. He stopped producing villagers. This is where Siege Tower Eagle would be so sick. Eagles pop over the wall and bam. Goodbye, monks. Goodbye, map control. But then you still need to make a ram to take down the wall. Viper's just going to have 2 monks. And he won't go for atonement. because he's waiting. I'm surprised this doesn't come off as obvious to Viper. He may choose to run away here if he senses something. I think he senses it. Yeah. You see that? He's like, that monk is staring at me way too hard right now. Something's up here. That's actually really good game sense. A lot of players at least hear the Wololo and then they run, and then sometimes it's too late. Okay, Viper's on the way to the Imperial Age. Next big question is, does he continue with monks? Does he go for scouts? Does he think about a Fatoria later on? Does he, like, how does he play it? He made a university. Does that mean he uses that and gets chemistry for gunpowder? That could be an option. It doesn't necessarily mean he should do it. This castle from Vivi, I think, is just going to be such a big target for Viper. I don't love this castle. If Viper sees this, Viper will just drop his castle here. He's going to do it anyways. Building a castle on the other side of a wall where someone can treb you from, if you're not already on the way to the Imperial Age, is normally very risky. Viper doesn't even know that castle's there. That's so funny to me. Might even make Viper jump a little bit. I don't really get surprised in game much, but I imagine Viper doesn't either. But there are rare instances where I'm like, whoa. Like, watch this. Viper's point of view has no clue that's there. And surprise. Surprise. And Viper's like, oh. Well, it's not my birthday, Vivi, but I appreciate it anyways, because that is precisely what I wanted here. This is what the faster and forward castle does. There's a big difference in the Vil count, but Viper will deem it worth it in order to take down the castle and start to apply pressure. This is just Viper's experience on closed maps, where the timings in the middle become very important. So, I don't know, Vivi. It's looking rough for you, dude. Like, right now, Eagles would make sense in some ways, because you think Viper's going to make monks. At the same time, you know, you're going to lose your castle. You're not going to take down his castle. You can't ever take down his castle, because your castle will likely be gone. I guess you can repair. But, you know, do you want to go infantry when Viper then has access to gunpowder out of the castle and maybe out of other buildings too? It's just going to be really tricky here. You could tell Vivi, like he did on paper, the things that Vivi has done here, as Vivi's trying to garrison, and the village, the eagle kept hitting the wall. It's like, let me in. So he just deleted it. Like Vivi has done things that make a lot of sense in this. Booming, getting relics, getting atonement, making monks, forward castle. It's just the timings have been so clean for Viper here. Isn't it BS that Mezzo castles have stairs, but you can't use them to climb over walls? But didn't they only climb the stairs to be sacrificed? I'm sure they did this. They did it for other reasons. But I think there was a lot of blood on those stairs. Oh, man. Scout goes in from Viper. Viper has atonement with range, trying to get those conversions. Vivi should use the castle. Oh, Viper got the conversions underneath the castle. I was going to say, Vivi could maybe use the castle in the final moments to try and kill these monks. Viper will now also know that it's eagles. Viper does not have anything more than just these monks and these trebs. But he goes for some gates. He adds another gate. He adds another gate. And Vivi, don't go too far. This is Viper we're talking about. It feels so weird. You're behind, Vivi. Don't attack. Don't attack. Like, not against Viper. What are you doing? Trebs versus monk. Pretty hilarious. Viper needs something against the enemy monks. And elite eagles on the way for Vivi. This could actually be really dangerous. Holy crap. If these things were to get through, it would be nightmarish for Viper. But stone gates were awesome, and then does convert the monks. Here, he's got to keep the treb alive. That treb goes down. Monks are still getting trebbed and converted. The eagles should just run right past, right into Viper's eco. Viper thought, I can't lose this game once he took that out. Vivi's just got so much army. Where's the army from the Viper? Holy crap. Guys, Vivi's doing it. Vivi is doing it. There's that one annoying eagle in there that Viper's got to somehow deal with. The eagles are going this way. Viper's dropping range just now to go for gunpowder. He was just like casual about it, dropping Fatorias. And Viper's got a wall his whole freaking map right now on Z-Wall. And he lost his trap. Okay, you know what would be sick for Vivi right now is to get villagers through. He's going to sneak them. He's going to try and get villagers through so you can build buildings on Viper's side. So you don't have to run past this castle every time. Vivi, not... Well, that could be a pathing thing. I guess maybe you'll make it. I don't know. Viper's making hand cannons now. Everyone else would have been dead already. Like, we've had... I can't even... It won't let me double-click the gates. I don't know. There's a lot of gates. And somehow these eagles haven't gotten through yet. That villager gets past. Shout out to that lady. But now, if Viper can just hold from this, he will be on hand cannon. And hand cannon is an amazing answer to the Eagle Warriors. Is this another situation where Vivi gets so close and Viper's damage control? And then it's just long-term strategy ends up being a little bit better. I mean, game one is going to haunt Vivi. I mean, this castle's basically useless at this point. It's missing all the shots. Oh, man. It just feels like, you know, you need something more. Now, Vivi had his own castle right now and could treb this down in the meanwhile. That'd be awesome, but he lost his castle, remember. There go those eagles. Viper has to be careful, though. The eagles still have high attack, so if they get in close to the hand cannons, it could still be a problem. Viper's conserving his mass here. He actually brought some units in here. And look at Vivi try and convert them now. Really smart thinking from Vivi. He gets one. But yeah, like, even opening the gate, you have to be careful those eagles don't die. Viper? Oh, the one unit was holding the gate open. Hold door. Oh, God, the eagles are in. Now, I don't know if this is good or Vivi or bad for Vivi, but I think it's probably his best chance is getting through here with elite eagle warriors. Full armor. We got sick eco behind this. And now Viper's got to do damage control within his base. Eagle count is going down. Hand cannon number still at 10. Viper needs more quick walls here, which he doesn't do. So villagers will die, giving Vivi opportunities. Viper's hand cannons are stacked together here. They need to get over here, and Viper hasn't noticed. Now remember, Viper has 1, 2, and will soon be 3 Fatorias, also bringing him in resources. But here he loses a bombard cannon. Viper is so distracted. Viper is so distracted. Great stuff from Vivi. It's been such an entertaining series. Like, these two are just so polar opposites. And I think Viper also he's just like this next level confidence against Vivi too, where he just plays extra greedy too. It's just so fun. Which religion's stronger? The Portuguese or the Aztecs? And it's the Aztecs. And now, well, it was Portuguese. Now it's, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. But the dust is settled, okay? Not only was Vivi not quite prepared with the next unit line, the skirmisher, but now you still have an issue where if you're going to funnel units through, it is going to have to be through this area, which Viper controls. And yet again, we find ourselves in a situation where I feel like Viper should win. Now, Viper needs to take care of this barracks because Vivi's being a real pain with it. But he's got 20 hand cannons. And while this is obviously not something Viper would have wanted, another bombard cannon down. He does quick wall there, though, to save the other one for now. And into the castle, out of the castle, nifty stuff. Able to protect that next bombard cannon as well. It's good distraction from Vivi. The fact that he's bought himself a little bit more time to try and get those upgrades and get those skirms out is nice. He does still have monks to convert Viper's cannons too, so the trebs could still stand here. So if anything, I think Viper needs to actually try and use his hand cannons here to try and hit those trebs. But Viper's resources are really high now, and I think the Portuguese will usually have the resources to go Cavalier against the skirmisher switch. And yeah, you might be able to convert this cannon if Viper lets you, but you're not going to be able to take out the hand cannons yet. And down goes Vivi's trebs. Viper saved the cannon, saved the castle, thus buying himself more time. And this would be where I could see Viper starting to get cab upgrades. I think also the Arquebus upgrade would make a lot of sense if we're going hand cannons. And there it is. That means the hand cannons will miss fewer shots as they're affected by ballistics. The Viper's castle will need to stay up for that. Should be able to stay up for that. Vivi's castle will need to research at Ladle, which gives his skirms +1 attack and +1 range. It's a really good upgrade. We don't see it too much these days. Remember, Viper has 80 eco. He's got 20 army. And then 60 of his pop comes from the Fatorias as well. But he's still got 40 pop space or like 35 pop space for army, which I think is needed right now. Even getting architecture here, Viper. Viper's had a tough time keeping this castle up. And Vivi's now through on this side. This is what Vivi needed. He needed another opening. It'd be so annoying for Vivi if he loses these trebs. Oh my god. Viper has a lot of stone too, so Viper's going to be able to play this game for a while. Vivi still trying to convert bombard cannons though. Viper's trying to convert the monks that are converting his cannons. Then you've got the whole skirmisher hand cannon battle. But Viper's going to get another treb. Vivi still has this one though. So, you know, again, just a reminder of the situation. Like, Vivi needs wins. He had 2 wins after the first round against Sobek, but Sobek is possibly one of the favorites to be relegated alongside Vivi. We don't know. The other name's Classic Pro, because this group has the 3 big kings. You've got Viper, you've got Tato, and you've got Leary in it. That feels like it's going to be a 1, 2, or 3 situation. And that's a big deal too, right? Like, Viper was first last time. Could easily not be first in this group, meaning he doesn't get that bye to the quarterfinals come playoff time. But I think 3 wins today for Viper. And he's going to be very comfortable with his position. As I get, like, he's so good with so little. Just able to avoid those monks, snipe the trebs. And, well, you know, for Viper right now, I think he's just waiting for the Cavalier. If you look at the army that's out there for Vivi, he has no answer to the Cavalier. And now the Cavalier is going to start to come out for the snake. And now the skirmishers can never move forward. And the Cavalier are actually something that can dive underneath Castle Fire as well. They trade very nicely against those eagles. How many petards does it take to take out a Fatoria? I have no clue, dude. Someone can do it for us. Vivi's trying every time, like right away, to get conversions, but Viper just pulls back in time. And it was smart for Viper to add his own treb here as well. He has sunk so much stone into repairing this castle, but now the Cavalier dive. The Cavalier go for the trebs. Cavalier will get 1. Again, Vivi tries his best to go take these cannons. Tried a couple times there, and another time a monk goes into the castle fire because of it. Great investment for Viper to go for Bracer for that castle. And he got ballistics too. And yeah, this is where it all ends. Viper's played phenomenally well. To be expected on this map. I think Vivi had a really good performance too, in all honesty. He did more in this game than I expected from him. I thought he was just going to show up, roll over, and die. Because game 1 was kind of heart-wrenching for him. Game 2 is his home map. It didn't get him the win. Vivi's maybe got one more fight, one more attempt here, but he doesn't have any siege to be able to make a real push. So even if he wins this fight, Viper's going to have more army. And it's a massive engagement, but it's not a close engagement. Vivi loses the game. And when he got through with those Eagles, I thought there was a chance. Like, I don't think Viper expected Vivi to go Eagles, actually. I think Viper... well, he clearly didn't, because he never walled, and he added the ranges upon the Eagles breaking into his base. I think Viper thought it was going to be like Skirmisher and Monk from Vivi, and that he could just hold with Bombard Cannons and his own Monks for a while he added his Fatorias. So I like Vivi's approach. Just try something and make it happen really fast. Viper, though, gets the 3-0. Viper now at 4 wins out of potential 6 in Titans League. And Viper has Sobek yet to play. He's got Leary yet to play, and then Classic Pro. Obviously, Leary, the big one. Leary after 2 rounds. Leary's 5-1, and Leary, one of those sets was a win against Tato. And the other one was against Classic Pro, but still, like, fun conversation in that group to see who's going to end up getting first place. Because Tato beat Viper 2-1 in the very first rounds. And the second round, then, Tato lost to Leary 2-1. I think Viper Leary is scheduled to happen near the tail end of the group stage, so maybe Viper will have the quote-unquote easier opponents leading up towards that. But honestly, Vivi's best chance for victory was actually game number 1. Game number 1, he could have taken from Viper, and he wasn't able to get the job done. Hopefully for Vivi, that doesn't necessarily haunt him when we start adding up those results. Which I'll show right now. Vivi stays at 2. Viper goes all the way up to 4. So Viper goes into second place behind Leary. So it's 5 for Leary. It'd then be 4 for Viper once this is updated. It would then be 3 for Tato, then 2 for Vivi, then 2 for Classic Pro, and then 2 for Sobek. Woo! That's fun. That's actually exactly what I want out of this group. Viper, Leary, Tato, very close. And then the 3 others that are going to be probably fighting for the 4th place spot. Technically speaking, we don't know. They're all tied with 2 wins after 2 rounds. So good stuff.